Oh, hello there, SCP Foundation staff, and specifically the Site-42 staff. Welcome to another iteration of Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the Anomalous broadcast from Site-42. Today, we are investigating, as always, the mysteries of the SCP Foundation. You, the intrepid junior researchers, janitors, other staff members at the Foundation, me, the aged, wizened senior researcher and site director, here to educate you on what you need to know to survive daily life at the Foundation. So, Noel, Sally, Coco, Cookie, Alex, Amy, and Leaf, welcome to the chat specifically for being members. Thank you guys so much for your support. Gamer as well. Meanwhile, the Ant and Agent Miles, hello to you guys, just for the fun of it. Are we cool yet cold? They wanted to donate art to spice up the halls. Despite my comical stream thumbnail, I am not interested in any art from those pretentious douches. Obviously, we'd end up with just half a dozen dead researchers every afternoon if we allowed such frivolities. Oh, Dr. Sherman, you don't get it. You don't get the meaning behind the fact that I'm getting murdered by this painting. Ay, ay, ay. There we go. Doc, Sector C has gone not fun. Well, Dr. Intern Noel, the Sector C is never a fun place to be at Site-42. There are not good times there. Leuna, thank you for being the first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some prawns on your way past the commissary. And you said, heads up, the shark punching center is in the water in Blackpool, UK. Interesting. Well, what are their operations in Blackpool? Let me see if there's something we should be worried about. Shark Punching Center, Blackpool. Oh, that's not working without using a triangulation of that. Must show results with Blackpool. Well, I'm not seeing any Shark Punching Center activity in the area, but you've got eyes on it, I assume. So, like the leather-clad boys in Greece, tell me more, tell me more. Dark matter. Ah, I didn't know this went live. Well, to be fair, we did just start 4 minutes ago, so you're not exactly late. And this is approximately a 3-hour stream today, give or take any technical issues like yesterday. So feel free to get yourself comfortable, because we're going to be talking shop for a little bit here. What happens if you put SCP-173 in a cargo container? Depending on the SCP-173 iteration in which canon or universe, sometimes a cargo container is enough to hold the entity because it doesn't like crashing into things too violently. The problem becomes that the various secretion of feces and blood that 173 produces would eventually fill up the cargo container, causing a rupture situation. So that's not exactly great. That is why we have the proper containment protocols that you see in the SCP-173 documentation. Jonathan Peters, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a shrimp cocktail on your way past the commissary. Beep. PSA. Anomalies are to be referred as it, not he, she, or they. In addition, we do not fraternize with the Anomalies. That is a very excellent PSA. I 100% approve. Excellent work. I love Mr. Puzzles and Sigma Ohi. Welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Dr. Sherman, question. If SCP-173 is made by concrete, why can't we mine it or break it? There's nothing saying we can't break SCP-173. It is just concrete and rebar. The situation is we don't want to break it because then we can't study it anymore. Obviously. I mean, come on now. And what are you going to mine it for? It's only one statue. It's not that much concrete. It's not going to be useful for building in any manner. Plus, the unpredictability of the bits and pieces of 173 might end us up in a SCP-1609 situation. I certainly do not want little rocks of concrete that will try and kill you if you blink. That's a lot more to handle. Nice pen trick. Where you learned that? Self-taught. I just started wiggling a pen between my fingers and learned how to roll it. For the tutorial, all you gotta do is you gotta pinch the pen, make it horizontal, catch it. Make it horizontal, catch it. Horizontal, catch it, horizontal, catch it. And you can just keep that thing rolling. Both ways. Why do you always click or spin that pen? You're like obsesses with it. I think you mean obsessed. Abscesses, I don't have any wounds, open pussy wounds on my hands caused by the pen. At least that doesn't happen to me anyways. So, yeah, it's just a fun, stupid human trick that I learned and is quite entertaining to me and to people who see it. That's all. Don't think too hard about it. There's definitely not any sort of anomalous reason why I do such a thing. Not at all. Junior researcher Sally gifting a Site 42 membership. That's what heroes do. Whoever was able to claim that, I believe your name is Blue, make sure you thank Junior researcher Sally for their generosity. That is what heroes do. Meanwhile, Gamer77, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a box of popcorned chicken on your way past the commissary. Want to clarify a question from yesterday. If I still do most of the work and make all of the script, is AI acceptable tool to use for some of the animation for an SCP series? As I said, the big deal is that SCP is religiously anti-AI. For the script, for the animation, for any voice work, definitely. I'll tell you how anti-AI the SCP fandom is as a creator, so you guys have a insight into the way we're thinking on this side of the camera. YouTube just dropped a AI dubbing that dubs your language into other languages. And you would think, okay, well, that gets you a better, vaster audience, and that would be good for the channel. But you're also, you're taking work away from voice actors in those other languages who would do this. So now if I get a French voice actor who wants to read the same article as me, they're not going to get attention because I just used AI to push them out of the market. On top of which, in order to get AI dubbing, I would need to essentially feed the works of the SCP Foundation into an AI model via my voice. And so that would be not beneficial for my voice to be cloned or anything like that, as well as putting SCP stories into an AI. So this is all the things we got to think about behind the scenes. This is just the start of deliberations. But that's why I haven't used that feature yet, because I'm still working out the moralities. It's probably not going to happen. Long story short, you would be better finding someone who's interested in AI as a not AI, God help. Animation as a hobby to help you out with the project. Team up on it. Get other people involved. That way their skill helps you the same way. Otherwise, you're just, you're barking up a wrong tree with the SCP community. It stinks, too, because if that could be used ethically, there's a lot that could be made, but the ways it does are just super unethical. And if the SCP community gets a whiff of it, woof, you are, they will ignore it by principle. Oh, Leaf, you're an animator. Well, congratulations. That is a cool thing to do. And hey, maybe Gamer77 and you can team up. I don't know. Let me continue on with the donations. Leuna, thank you for donating again, as well as being a member. I didn't say that earlier. I feel it's a routine check. No anomalies spotted. Okay, that's good. But were there any sharks? Are the Shark Punching Center engaging with said sharks? We gotta watch out. Certified soap. Kind of ironic how the SCP Foundation is so focused on containing and keeping monsters from harming people, and yet they just let D classes die constantly. See, this is a fine detail misunderstanding of the mission statement of the Foundation. Our goal is not to protect people on a micro scale. Our goal is to make sure that the majority of humanity gets to live normal lives as if there were no monsters and magic in the world. That is the macro goal. And so we are completely willing to sacrifice lives, whether it be D-Class, whether it be researchers infected with anomalies, whether it be the anomalies themselves, if it means we can maintain normalcy. That's our first priority, maintain normalcy. Second priority, doing research. Doing science. There is science to do here at the Foundation. And so our testing, we would rather lose a couple scientists or D-Class here and there in the name of furthering our research goals than we would preserving human life. Again, so the Foundation is, our motto is we are cold but not cruel. And sometimes we toe that line very carefully. But yes, to answer your question very simply, a few gotta die for the greater good, the greater good, then they gon' die. It's just like that. Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Know someone I do not. Derek, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a Hot Pocket on your way past the commissary. Hey, site director. Has there been a case where someone or something has been infected with every SCP virus at once? Is 008 the worst one? Okay. Trust me. First of all, if I go to SCP-008 and we look at Biohazard, Blood, Contagion, Euclid, Illustrated, Reanimation, SCP Transfiguration. I'm going to go with Contagion as my tag check. I think that'll be the best thing toward finding a... Well, let me see if there's virus. Virus would be easy. Yes, virus. Okay, so as of current stream, there are 66 SCP articles tagged with virus. 66 virus SCPs. That is a lot of viruses for one person to be infected with, and most of them are contained at various sites across the world. So to answer your question quite simply, no one's ever been infected with every single SCP virus. That would be wildly unpredictable, and it's not the kind of science that we push forward here. Now, that being said, what was the second half of that? 008 being the worst one? I mean, it's just a simple zombie virus, so I don't know all of these zombie SCPs here, but I am certain it can't be the worst of them. If only because there's 65 other options, something's got to be worse. But if you want to check out the virus tag on the SCP Wiki, there's 66 anomalous viruses waiting for you to check them out. Gamer, thank you for donating again. What if your pen was bees? What if your pen has had bees for ink? And what if I ate bees? Well, if my pen was bees, I would probably be stung right now. And if the ink in my pen were bees, then those bees would be crushed to death inside of the cartridge of this pen. And I do not believe that crushed bees make for a very useful ink. Therefore, I do not think that would be a useful pen at that point. And meanwhile, what if you ate bees? Well, you would be very similar to the meme that was passing through the chat yesterday. Strange folk, the lot of you. Skylar, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a York peppermint patty on your way past the commissary. Jonathan, thank you for donating again. What do you mean we toe that line carefully? We aren't morally gray at all. Just don't look at Insert Tale where we did horrible things. I know, exactly. You get me. That's exactly correct. We are morally dubious as a sainted child. A child that was sainted. That's how morally dubious we are. We are obviously in the right. Oh, geez. The Scarlet King is in the chat today. Listen, just ignore poor Oswald. I know the Scarlet King is very sad. We could just let Oswald have its little fun here. That's fine. I don't know how a Cthulhu-esque malevolent deity from outside the bounds of reality got a cell phone with signal to our chat here at the SCP Foundation, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's a harmless anomaly at this point. Joshua, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a Impossible Burger on your way past the commissary. How would the Foundation contain both the baby Clover, and then what would you do when it grows into its adulthood form? From Cloverfield. Cloverfield, huh? So, if I'm not seeing that one, that particular media property, but isn't it a sort of Godzilla-esque entity? The Clover Monster. Cloverfield Explained. Cloverfield Monster. Name given of an underwater life form that appears in Cloverfield and Cloverfield Kishin. The creature was created by Neville Page and J.J. Abrams. Unknown amphibious species. Status deceased. Oh, okay. So, that means that we'd be essentially doing what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is doing with the dead Celestial, which is there's a giant dead creature that we have to cover up the existence of. Interesting, interesting. The creature is officially a baby. It's brand new. It's confused, disoriented, and irritable. And it's been down there in the water for thousands and thousands of years. Okay. So, I believe, yes, if we're dealing with a dead monster, then that's a lot of disinformation and a lot of work to break down and remove the corpse from public eye so that we can make sure no other civilians note what happens there. If the entity is alive, that would probably require a team-up with some of the more violent groups of interest, like the Global Occult Coalition, to take down the entity before then doing the disinformation and amnestization of the surrounding area. Gamer, thank you for donating again. This might be a dumb question. How do I get Wikipedia? Is it an app or a .com? It is wikipedia.org, right? I'm pretty sure you're looking for wikipedia.org. Yes, it's a .organization. Dr. Sherman, we at the Ethics Committee are very concerned with the, quote, tree files. Care to explain? Listen, EC, buddy. EC, my friend, my pal, EC. You don't have to worry about the files for SCP-4521. It's just, after all, it's just a tree. It's just a tree. And there's so many trees out there. So many trees, and all of them are natural trees. They do natural tree things. They're regular, non-anomalous trees. Except that, well, all trees we know scientifically have a vocalization that is beyond human hearing, but can be recorded by proper instruments. And what we know is that trees that are chill just kind of hang out. But if you injure the tree, such as breaking a branch, or if you mow your lawn, the grass, which is cut, these injuries cause the trees to scream. In nature, right now, all trees are capable of screaming. The problem is, there is one tree that doesn't. SCP-4521. And we are going to make it scream. You don't have to worry. We are going to make SCP-4521 scream. And once it does, then it will be just like all the other trees. We can neutralize it. We can decommission the research project. But not until that fucking tree gets in line. So yes, don't worry. I've got it under control. And that tree will be just fine. I will solve the problem. We will all get great awards. And then move on with our lives. Remicus Prime, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a Oreo milkshake on your way past the commissary. Found a strange lake recently. Don't know why I recognize the bodies in the water. On the other hand, Cybertronians aren't physically affected by that anomaly. Also, Dark Energon was found in Colorado. So I mean, you say you found a strange lake, but we're already monitoring that lake, so you must have passed by some Foundation staff. Crazy talk. You should know that if you've been collaborating with us. Meanwhile, good to know that inorganic entities such as Cybertronians are not affected by the bodies in the water. I wonder if we threw some Cybertronians in there, if the Cybertronian bodies would be recognizable in that way that is not good. But I don't really feel the need to run such an experiment. That being said, yeah, I guess we got to send troops to Colorado and see what's going on with that. Ray Sumeachi, the Sakura Knight, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a rice ball on your way past the commissary. If I were the tree, I would scream right now. Well, friendly, much like your name, that's a friendly proposition. I wish that were how it worked. Can we make the tree scream in laughter? You know, Immortal Shinron, I don't know that I've considered that. Screaming laughter. Well, we'd have to find a particularly funny staff member or anomaly for such a thing. Let me know if you can think of any anomalies or staff members that would be humorous enough for such a thing. And right now, I'll warn you, remember the doctor we don't talk about, because the rules are the rules on that one. Dreamscape Traveler, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself some cotton candy on your way past the commissary. Hello all? Well, hello all to you back. Nathan, Mipro, and Jean, welcome all to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Derek, who supports the Foundation? Like, really? How do they have so much money? Well, you really need to pay attention to the different canons and universes. In some, we are funded by shadowy trillionaires in the Illuminati-style way. We're a secret organization funded privately. We don't pay taxes because the government is too afraid to come after us. And so that is where our financial backing comes from. In some other versions, we have a little less infinite money, and therefore we have to do things like run patents on research that we've done that we can sell. Now, we don't sell anomalies because that would cause problems in the public, but our research has brought to light several normal scientific advancements that we can use to raise budgetary needs that way. Now, the front companies that sell those things, they do need to pay taxes, so they are not linked to us. But that is the only way we pay taxes. And, yeah, so that's about it. And of course, sometimes the Foundation is a little bit of a more fly-by-night organization, barely getting by on the funding. We don't have infinite funds, and it's part of the challenge is how do we get by and do our job with less and less resources. Essence, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a blueberry muffin on your way past the commissary. If someone wanted to make a book on the SCP Foundation, do I have to ask creators permission? So, the way this all works legally is the SCP Foundation is released by by a license that is called the Creative Commons 3.0 Share-alike license. Now, what that means very simply is this. We can... Basically, let's simplify this. If you want to use a Marvel thing in your work, as long as it's not a fair use cameo that's really quick, you can make that thing if you go and ask Marvel permission, and then they might set some guidelines for you that you can't monetize it, that you have to make it off-brand or something like that. The copyright holder has a lot of rights, and you have to approach them and ask. For the SCP community, because we have this Creative Commons 3.0 share-alike license, and isn't there one more word? It's SCP Licensing Guide. By the way, if you want a deeper answer to what I'm saying, you can go to the SCP Wiki Licensing Guide to get what you need. Ah, yes, I was missing the word attribution. The Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike 3.0 license. So what this means is a couple things. Attribution. That means, or first and foremost, to answer your first question, you don't have to ask. You do not have to approach any SCP creator to use their creation. The reason for this is simple. The Creative Commons is a license that allows you to use the work, and it sets parameters on how you are allowed to use the work. Therefore, you don't have to talk to the creator. If you're talking to someone with a copyright, you have to talk to them, and you have to arrange things. By releasing things Creative Commons, you're not giving up the copyright. For instance, we are not public domain. A lot of people think that Creative Commons and public domain are the same thing. They are not. Public domain is free to use by anyone for any reason, blah, blah, blah. What we have is we still own the copyright to our SCP Foundation works, but we have made a road for you to be allowed to reproduce them. And that road is thus. Attribution. It means that you are supposed to credit the original creator. You have to say, this is based on SCP-5886, The Ballad of Jim Biggio, by the Sherm, and you have to link to that original article on the SCP Wiki. So a proper attribution means you name the story, which is the SCP number in its title, you name the author, and you link to the original article on the SCP Wiki. That is the attribution clause. You have to attribute. Second, you need to share alike. It means that you have to release your work that is based on SCP via the same license. You cannot use an SCP work and then hold a sole copyright. You have to release via the same license, which is the share alike. And so, pardon me, once you fulfill those tasks, you credit and you release your own work via the license, then you're allowed to do your story. You're allowed to make money from your story. A lot of people think you're not allowed to make money off of SCP stories because of Creative Commons. No, it is fine to merchandise. It is fine to do sell works based on the SCP. The only rule is you have to attribute and you have to share alike. That's all. Go more into the licensing guide for details, but that's the main thing. You don't have to ask permission, you do have to give credit, and you do have to release your own work via the same license. Amber Chaos. First of all, good to see you in the chat and being a member. But it's a dick move of you to not ask the creator anyway. Honestly, the Creative Commons is a road that allows people to use your work. It's basically blanket permission from the author. Now, it is nice to chat with the author. It is nice to tell them, hey, I made this thing of this thing that you made, so why don't you check it out? I'll send it to you. It's even nicer to maybe, if you make a book, for instance, to send them a copy, or even better, to maybe throw them a monetary royalty-style gift. You don't have to, but it's nice to pay it forward like that. These are things that are extra credit, but are really nice and going to make you be in the good graces of not only the SCP creator you use the work of, but also the greater community as a whole when you give back. So I hope this was a pretty good answer for you. I did my best. There's a lot to cover, and make sure to check the licensing guide because that'll help a lot. Rolling back down to the bottom of chat since that took a while. Please pay SCP creators, we're broke. Too true, Leaf. Too true. The thing about the reason that Netflix or Amazon will never touch an SCP Foundation project is because they want to own the IP and they want to control it. They want to stamp out competition. So they are not down with the Creative Commons stuff, which is why you get Evan Royalty trying to raise some funds for his films. You have the SCP Academy folk, Dark Math Films, trying to raise funds for their SCP series. And you got me, who eventually wants to make series, but first and foremost, I'm building the production, the marketing arm. I'm building the marketing arm not only for my own projects, but the SCP community in general. That way, SCP fans know where to go to find different SCP projects and support them. It's from the bottom up, this community, not from the top down. And that's why you guys, Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codename the Signal Boosters, are the cream of the crop. Because if we share a project, you guys share it around and make sure that we can continue building this community proper. All right, what do we got here? What have I missed in a long rant there? Zakinator 2.2, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a nice cream on your way past the commissary. Hey, Dr. Sherman, if someone wanted to... Would Bakugan be considered an SCP? I don't know what Bakugan is, so I'm going to look it up real quick. But before I do that, a happy birthday, Foldaprugs. I hope you're having a good birthday. Leaf may or may not be writing your first SCP article right now. Good luck. It's not easy, but it is rewarding. Was there something else I saw here? My screen flickering. That's not a good thing. Nope, those were the two I saw. Okay, let's find out what a Bakugan is. Bakugan. Bakugan Battle Brawlers. Is this what you're talking about? Okay, so Bakugan Battle Brawlers is a Japanese television series. Invent a game they call Bakugan. Other friends, they formed a group called the Bakugan Battle Brawlers. Accidentally dragged into fighting for the fate of Vestroia, the home dimension of the Bakugans. What do you mean the home dimension of the Bakugans? So, I'm confused with what the hell is going on here. Are there any anomalies? That's my question. Is this like Digimon, where their little fighting toys have living creatures inside them from another dimension? Because if so, then yes, it is definitely anomalous, although it's not an SCP because it's not on the SCP wiki. I saw the word other dimension, so I'm assuming this is anomalous. Okay, good to know. So I'm right about that. That's good news. So, yes, that would be anomalous, but not an SCP because it's not on the SCP database, and we do not steal other IP to the best of our ability. We're a Creative Commons community. That would be against the rules. Derek, thank you for donating again. Oh, wow. There's a refresh. Give me a second. Why don't we use SCP-106's corrosive fluids to further detain 682? As far as we know, it's corrosive fluids. It is not a person. It is an object. 106 is not a he. 106 is an it. Come on now. As far as we know, its corrosive fluids are stronger than most acids. Yes, but it is very difficult to harvest them because 106 is not exactly keen on sticking around standing still while we harvest the acid. It instead continually murders our staff. So, not exactly a useful plan. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating for the first time today. Go grab yourself a turkey leg on your way past the commissary. The water nymph didn't attack me because I had some of the best stuff on my clothes. The best stuff? What is the best stuff? I'm so confused. The water nymph didn't attack me because I had some of the best stuff on my clothes. Trying to remember what our previous conversations might mean for that, but I'm drawing a blank. Mr. Creeper 2018. We started this stream 37 minutes ago, which means we are 2 hours and 23 minutes from the end of stream. This is a 3-hour stream today. Well, that music's a little intense for what's going on right now. Let's chill out a second. Meanwhile, I don't like the water nymph being nice to anybody. It seems sus, so just stay out of there. Stay out and stay away from these anomalies. You're causing very suspicions around the site of these hostile anomalies all being nice to you. It's creepy. What do you know about SCP-3340? Well, off the top of my head, nothing, because I do not remember what number that is, but I'll certainly look it up real quick. I missed something in the chat I want to check real quick. Oh no, Origami and Zirtrin, your white names, you're cursed. Oh geez, you better look out, guys. You're in the ranks of the white names now. It's a very dangerous place to be. You think, therefore we are. SCP-3340. Collective term for incorporeal parasitic entities which are generated when a being is able to conceptualize their existence. Natural generation of these entities can be caused through various means such as imagination, but the majority of 3340 instances documented have been spawned from tangible media, descriptive text, audio, and verbal communication. Oh, very similar to SCP-3086, actually. Instances once formed cause the host to change their behavior. Sympathy for the instances, along with personality changes, is a distinguishing characteristic of infection. Some instances, pardon me, are also capable of inducing sensation in the host, such as causing various levels of hallucination, with one documented case of a 3340 instance causing the host to feel pain. 3340 instances have been documented elevating dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin levels in those infected when aiding in 3340 replication. Uh-oh. They can make it feel good to make more of them. Oh, I don't like that at all. Let's just get off this. No, no, no. Don't refresh. Don't refresh. No, I'm backing out. We're not spawning any entities here, people. We're not falling for it. Nope, 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 nope. Do not read the SCP-3340 document. We do not need more of those things running around. Just ignore them, and they will not exist. So, not any of that. Not any of that. Nope, nope, nope. 3340, we leave it alone. We leave it alone, and it's just fine. Rebel Commander, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself some Gungan porridge on your way past the commissary. Pencil keeps writing on the wall, I will make the tree scream. The wall of its containment are now screaming. The pencil is now screaming itself. Well, it can... Oh, no. I was going to say, it can be mad all at once, but it's already failed. What is it going to do? But now I feel kind of a sympathetic kinship with the entity. We are both in the dire straits, me and that pencil. So, you know what? I support a fellow tree screamer maker king. We will work together on this project, and that tree will scream. Essence, thank you for donating again. Do you mind being in the book? Oh, no, the Dr. Sherman character is fair to use, of course, same Creative Commons. Dr. Theron Sherman originated in the SCP-049 article, so if you're going to credit where Dr. Sherman came from, you can go there. And of course, I'd appreciate it if you credit Site42, the YouTube channel, as a bonus, because that would send people my way. So, yeah, go right ahead. Drowsy. Oh, what the hell, I didn't get this notification. Sorry I'm late, but I have to go, like, right now. Well, glad you stopped by for a second. Thank you for being a member. Take care of yourself and hope you have a good rest of your day. Mr. Mal, curious question, Doc. What is the not yet cool players in the title? Is this some hostile nemesis faction to the Are We Cool Yet faction? I'm glad you caught the reference. So my joke side here is that that wonderful piece of Dr. Sherman fan art that you saw there in the multiple colors was made several years ago. And it made me think of an artsy kind of Dr. Sherman portrait, like Andy Warhol style. And that made me think of Are We Cool Yet because of art. And the not ready for primetime players is the joking name of the cast of Saturday Night Live, which is why the not cool yet players is my takeoff on that. So yes, it is a little bit of a light poke and prod to them not being cool. Edits for you. Thank you for subscribing to Site42. Welcome to staff. Avery, when will you do more SCP? We are constantly doing SCP things here on Site42. We are always talking SCP. Ray, thank you for donating again. How could the absolute solver be contained? Well, first, I would need to see what the absolute solver is, because that is not in my head as a concept. Absolute solver. This is a Murder Drones universe thing. Solver of the Absolute Fabric, or just Solver, or by the name of its first well-known and successful host, Sin, is the overarching antagonist of Murder Drones. Extremely advanced, hostile, eldritch intelligence of unknown origin that seeks to consume all life and satiate its hunger by creating singularities that destroy entire planets. So, for this kind of entity, the first thing we'd have to do, since it's an artificial intelligence, is we would need to work with the SCP Foundation's Artificial Intelligence Applications Department, which is the AIAD, and they are the first people we would work for, we would have on deck to deal with that. That being said, we would also, perchance, since it's an Eldritch-style intelligence, it's from seemingly outside the universe and all, we could pull a... What SCP is that? We could do SCP-4335, which is a Eldritch deity that is trapped in the world of Minecraft. We could play a little fun game of trapping the absolute solver in a lower narrative level. Therefore, it can't bother us in the narrative level above it. Think about it pataphysically. You could say that the murder drone show is where we have tracked the absolute solver so it can't get to us. You know, just a couple of options. SCP-2006 as a clown could make the tree scream laughing. Also, I'm a new medical combative, and I'm stuck in 610's containment. Help, I'm getting infected and eaten my pounds of flesh. Someone tell Doc help. Well, it seems like we lost that person, but utilizing 2006 in testing with the tree. Interesting. Now, that could get dangerous, because we know in certain tales and other SCPs that 2006 leveling up can be very terrifying. And could be bad for humanity. So I don't like the idea of risking this tree, which we know won't scream for low-level things, getting up to that point, and us not being able to reel 2006 back in. So no, I think we'll stick with our current plans. But nice thought, and we're sorry for your loss of yourself. If the tree didn't scream laugh when the doc concussed himself on it, I don't think it's gonna work. Amber, that is a thing that we don't have to bring up very often. That's not important to mention in chat anymore. That's just a willy-nilly incident from the past, a noodle incident that doesn't need to be explained. Ten Tails, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a banana pancake plate on your way past the commissary. Hello, Dr. Chairman. Yeah, the chairman of the board, old Blue Eyes. Fly me to the moon, then we'll blow that damn moon up. 'Cause the spider moon ain't sticking around. I hate that buttercup. I've escaped from my cube again, flying to another island. I'm surprised you all trust me so much that I'm able to escape so often. Listen, don't tell Ten Tails. This is just a little cat and mouse game. As long as we keep the entity entertained, it's basically contained. Wolf's the Night Eye. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some rabbit stew on your way past the commissary. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating again. You had me get a little bit of the best stuff from the commissary. Oh, yeah, that best stuff. Thank you for the reminder. Yeah, oh, isn't that good? Isn't that literally the best? You said only eat a tiny amount because I won't be able to enjoy anything else if I eat too much. Exactly. You don't want to give yourself an existential crisis because nothing else is going to top that. It's not good for your mental health. Fox Packs & Co., thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a large pizza on your way past the commissary. Can you run a name through the database for me, Dr. Sherman? The shooter's name was Bruce Jensen. I am unfamiliar with this person. I don't know if they're a person of interest. You spelled it Jensen, so let's get that right because it's trying to spell it with two E's rather than an E and an O. There we go. People. Just average citizens, nothing yet. It doesn't look like there's anything in the SCP database under that name. Are we just dealing with a civilian in this case? I don't see anything out of the ordinary for this individual. So, yeah, maybe there's something you can find in their backstory that I can't do on a brief database scan. Dr. Pepper Dragon, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Hey, boss, here's the $2 I owe you for that soda. Oh, thank you very much. I will use that for the vending machine later on. I have my concepts for my next 2 SCPs after me and my co-writer are done with the numeric aphasia. Still don't know if we're going to use our placeholder number. That is so hard, coming up with a bunch of different SCP ideas, and then you actually have to just write one of them without getting distracted by other ideas. Woof. Good luck with that. That's a toughie. Flare-On, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Go grab yourself a plate of meatballs on your way past the commissary. Hi, Doctor. I have a question. Is Sam Howell the strongest being in every narrative? The strongest being alive? So, Sam Howell, otherwise known as SCP-3812, is technically, feasibly, possibly the strongest SCP entity in fictional sense. Because Sam's ability is simply that it can exist at all narrative layers simultaneously. So not only does it exist at level 1, its own level, but it climbs up to being the author of that universe, and then the author of the universe below that, and then higher up to be the author of that universe, and it goes all the way up and all the way down. So what this means is that in universe, SCP-3812 was able to defeat its own author because it ascended to a higher narrative level than its own author. So, in a pataphysical sense, on one level, Sam Howell isn't the strongest entity. It's the problem that it can move up to the next level up and affect the level below it. That creates the issue. So technically, not the strongest SCP. Only strongest because it can ascend and descend narrative levels. Quite interesting as a concept. Obviously, we know that the actual strongest SCP is SCP-6101, a child by the name of Ethan Prosper. This 9-year-old child is the most powerful SCP, and you can tell that because the first line of its description on the database is SCP-6101 is the most powerful SCP. I mean, you can't argue with that. That's just, it's written in the document. What else are we going to do? Dr. Pepper Dragon, thank you for donating again. After I got anomalized, as long as I drink Dr. Pepper, I don't have to sleep. It's been great. I've been getting a lot of work done through the night. Wish I had that power. Both because I could get a lot of work done throughout the night, and I do enjoy the Dr. Pepper. Rats. Lucky punk. Rebel Commander, thank you for donating again. If Tree were to laugh but not scream, what would you do? Be annoyed because it's not screaming, obviously. Also, I found paper that writes on itself saying, bring me the pencil now. What should I do? Do not bring it the pencil. We do not answer the demands of Anomalies. And obviously, if those two get together, something's going to happen. So let's not mess with that, huh? Let's not mess with that. Just keep them separate. Zero. Congratulations on a month of overseership here at Site-42. Hey Doc, how does Site-42 figure out if Anomalies could end the world/universe? Also an unrelated question, why are we never full after eating Chinese food? Well, the Chinese food phenomenon is a very common meme in the world. It is in fact anomalous, but we just can't tell everyone that. But it has to do with the dietary engines of the human body with regards to certain proteins and seasonings. The food is utilized by the body, but it's just utilized at a very rapid pace. So, unfortunately, it's just that simple. And we can't tell the public, otherwise we'll have problems. And meanwhile, we figure out if Anomalies can end the universe or not based on a couple factors. Number one, have they ended a universe? We can observe other universal planes and we can see if they have ended or not, and we can figure out what ended them. So, sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. So that is one way we figured out. Another is extrapolation of data, such as the self-replicating cakes. We know that if SCP-871 were allowed to replicate X amount of times, the world would be drowned in cakes. And that could cause a implosion of the Earth's core. It obviously, the world's humanity and species would drown in cake. So at that point, we know the Earth would end based on extrapolated data. So those are two ways we figure that out. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating again. Have SCP-6101 make 682 submissive. Oh, we totally did that. We totally had SCP-6101 encounter the hard-to-destroy reptile. And boy, when 6101 saw that lizard, all of a sudden, 682 was so scared that it transformed into a normal, everyday lizard. And 6101 was able to pick up that lizard and play with it. But because 6101 is such a righteous dude, it did not decide to crush 682. So we know that 682 can crush the lizard, or can be crushed by 6101, but it's too kind to do such a thing. Therefore, we were unable to successfully decommission 682 in that method. That's totally what happened. I will not answer any further questions. Dr. Sherman, have you ever tried to hug a baby deer to make the tree scream? In what way would hugging a deer make the tree scream? I have no idea what your cause and effect is there. Dr. Sherman, I have a question. Can Pokemon be considered as anomalies? Kyle, only if they came to our world, because in their world, they are normal. Therefore, they're not anomalous in that world. Meanwhile, in our world, they would very much be anomalous. Does Thomas the Train Engine have an SCP number? It, in fact, does not. I will, however, run a database check to see if any references to Thomas the Tank Engine exist on the wiki. I wouldn't be shocked such a pop culture character found its way in. It looks like someone's sandbox is trying to make SCP-5003 train engine related, but I don't know if it's Thomas. Also, God, that's so bright. Stop it. It looks like there is no mention of Thomas on the wiki. Although, it looks like Dr. Bob did make a fake Cursed Thomas the Train Engine SCP video, and it's claiming it has something to do with SCP-2086, codename the Man-Eating Bus. So that's just some good old-fashioned Dr. Bob clickbait that we're looking at there. Foxpax & Co., thank you for donating again. From what we were able to figure out, he appeared to have struggled with mental health issues and cult-like tendencies. Oh, what? Do we have any data on who he was in touch with? Any cult would bring to mind any group of interests we have to be aware of that might have known of his location, therefore might be trying to find him, and that could cause problems for containment. Questerus Maximus, thank you for your first donation of today's stream, as well as being a member. I did a coffee run for one of the 05, but I got the order wrong for one of them. I was getting reassigned to 682, an overreaction on their part. Listen, the overseers are mysterious and important. So I cannot say if possibly the coffee you got wrong might have been an ordinary coffee, whereas the coffee they asked for was made from the liquid of the Fountain of Youth, which helps keep them young, so you cause them to age 5 years unnecessarily. That would not be good. And so, yes, I would You should just be more careful next time. Let's see. Dharmaton, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a souffle on your way past the commissary. I like the green pen. I'm glad to hear it. I like this pen particularly for spinning. If you're going to get a pen for spinning, then my favorite aspects are A, you get one that's got a rubberized, it's more of a grippy pen. Number two, comparing these two rubberized pens, this one's a little lighter and this one's a little heavier, and that makes a difference in when you're doing pen searches, pen spins, so that's very nice. I prefer a bit of a heavier pen, it gives you a better hold. And then B, you'll notice this one is broken. I lost the clippy thing, whereas this one, the clippy thing is intact. So that does get in the way a little bit, but it's not bad in the long run. Rebel Commander, thank you for donating again. Isn't SCP-343 the strongest? Well, if you read the SCP-6101 document, it clearly states that SCP-6101 is the strongest SCP. I don't know what to tell you, bub. Also, the pencil is writing, bring me the paper now. Don't listen to the anomaly. This is a very much gatekeeper keymaster scenario. Do not let them meet. Do your job. Also, I found a poncho made of water. It now has fish swimming in it. A water poncho. Interesting. I know about like water disco shoes with little fish in them, but a poncho, huh? Interesting. I imagine the plasticine aspect of it is not exceptionally comfortable. Foxpax, thank you for donating again. I got people searching his res as we speak. I'll let you know what we find. Good work. Keep it up. Questerus, I figured that coffee smelled off. Duly noted. Yep, you got to watch out for things like that. The O5s are particular. Dr. Sherman, have you tested 096 with 999? It is an unnecessary test. The reason is 999 doesn't have eyes. I don't know if you realize that because a lot of fan depictions depict SCP-999 with eyeballs and a face, but 999 is just a rectangular slime. It does not have facial features. Therefore, it cannot activate SCP-096 because it can't see it. It can't see its face. And 096 will stay there crying and will maybe cry a little less if 999 touches it. But 096 is so fast that it will break through walls of its containment, and if 096 is seen by a picture somewhere, it's just going to leave 999 in the dust. 999 is not that fast, even when hopped up on Red Bull and Skittles. So it's not exactly useful for that anomalous test to take place. We already know how that would go. Doctor, there is no rabbit meat left in the commissary. What do I do? That sounds a bit shocking. They'll restock soon. Just have a little patience. They're very good at their job. Site 42 staff, I'll just let you know a couple things on our stream check right here. We are 1 hour into today's stream, which means we have 2 hours left, if for those keeping track. B, we have 165 likes and 171 viewers. Hit that like button. Let's take that like number over the viewers. You have the power. Questerus, thank you for donating again. On a similar note, the coffee cup fused to my hand. Oh no. Oh, no. You're in big trouble then. Because that means you're dealing with SCP not 294. That's the coffee machine. SCP-198, titled Cup of Joe, has taken numerous forms since coming into Foundation possession in the 19 Redacteds. Since acquisition, 198 has been observed to have dozens of different forms, including a styrofoam cup, a beer bottle, and a brand of aluminum soda cans, an oversized shot glass that read 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila floor, a plastic water bottle with a blank label partially peeled off, and data expunged. These forms always appear partially filled with the expected liquid a vessel of that type would contain. When you, a live being, human being, grabs 198, it fuses to the hand through unknown, albeit painful means. The pain has been described as searing or fiery, although no heat is detected by outside instruments. After the bonding process, the fluid fills up with semi-solid or fluid material, stopping only once it reaches the top of the container. The liquid or semi-solid is different for each holder, but it has to date been a bodily fluid or human excretion in each test instance. Such instances have included human saliva, sweat, blood, bile, mucus, urine, feces, and data expunged, as well as combinations or 2 or more of these things. Once 198 is filled, the holder will undergo rapid dehydration and or emaciation, becoming increasingly malnourished to the point of death, and foods, IVs, liquids do nothing to reverse this flow. The only thing that keeps you alive is drinking 198, which means you will have to keep drinking because you are hydrating as fast as you're being dehydrated. The longest a person has lasted in this drink the gross thing race is 70 hours. So, long story short, Questerus, you're kind of cooked. Unless you find a way to detach that thing. Self-terminated. I'm trying to find out if cutting off your hand is a viable plan to save you here. No. Control F. Limb? No. Hand? To date, no means have been found to break the bond, including cutting or severing fingers or hand of the holder, as any wounds below the wrist of the test subject heal instantaneously. Further proposed testing of the range of healing of the handler's arms is pending approval. So yes, you can't even cut off your hand to get rid of 198. Long story short, I'm sorry for your loss of you, and I hope in the next life you fare better and do not pick up such a devastatingly disgusting anomaly. Ooh, hate that. Easy fix, I revive in my bed after a week. I shall go visit 682. My sword said so. All right, thank you for donating again, and good luck with your incoming death and re-life. VW, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a jawbreaker on your way past the commissary. Is there a universe where William Tecumseh Sherman is an anomaly? Yes, a very wonderful member of the Sherman name. Let's see what comes up. I'm checking a lead. I might have something here. Control F. William. So, in conclusion, as per Pentagram Foundation agreement, the Foundation is permitted to survey the site of UE 104312, extract any paratech located on the premises, and reverse engineer the aforementioned paratechnology if it in fact exists. In the event that paratechnology is located within UE 104312 and has been determined to have been placed at UE 104312 maliciously, the Foundation pledges to collaborate with the Pentagram and swiftly and succinctly retaliate against this unprovoked attack on the sovereign nation of the United States of America. And it is signed by both 054 of the Foundation and William Tecumseh Sherman, G9, Director of Pentagram. So, the situation is that Pentagram is a United States' version of the Foundation, as held in SCP-5859, and it is run by William Tecumseh Sherman. So we found a mention. I don't know if William is anomalous or not, but we do know he do be there. Okay, so that's peculiar, to be sure. Any other SCP mentions? Nope. In canon, William Tecumseh Sherman is known as the Director of Pentagram. That is his role in the SCP Foundation lore. All right, well, that's interesting. I didn't know that before you asked that question. Pringleberry and Darth Vader. Welcome to Site42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Oh, you did it, staff. 197 likes and 173 viewers. The likes now outweigh the viewer count. You are successful, as I knew you would be. Obviously, the pinnacle of Foundation staff is found right here at Site42. Rebel Commander, thank you for donating again. Poncho is water plus fish, nothing holding it together. Okay, but something's holding it together. Some sort of gravitational anomaly or law of physics that doesn't make sense. If it's crafted out of water, you really need to put that in a box, and someone needs to study that. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating again. Help, a researcher is trying to make me look at a picture of 096. I'm not immortal. I don't want to get attacked. That sounds strange. You might not be dealing with an actual researcher. You might be dealing with a traitor. And in that case, feel free to use non-lethal force to incapacitate the enemy trooper, and we will put them through interrogation. What would happen if you ate SCP-999? Well, first of all, Devi, let me just point out to you that you just said, what if I ate SCP-999? As in, grammarologically speaking, you are talking about eating the whole of an entity that is 3 meters by 1 meter in a cube and 54 kilograms or 120 pounds. I don't know if you're capable of eating 120 pounds of food, but the likelihood is that if you ate that much slime, you would die. So, that is first and foremost your death. VW, thank you for donating again. You can't deny that the Chaos Insurgency has drip. No. You said that wrong. You can't deny that the Chaos Insurgency are drips. Just a bunch of drips. Just a bunch of losers. That's the Chaos Insurgency. I fixed it for you. You're welcome. VW, thank you for donating again and again. Also, where are the commie spiders? Oh, I think I remember that one. Gosh darn it. SCP Communist Spiders. SCP-1006. Spider Proletariat. Contained within a 213-meter radius in Redacted National Park and should be checked bi-weekly. So, are you saying they're not in their home? That's not a good thing. We will have to, send a team to check in on that. Because I do not want loose spiders anywhere. It's not because I hate spiders, mind you. And it's not because I hate communists, mind you. It's just that anomalies should stay where they are. That's the only reason. All right, I've assigned a check team, so we'll see how that goes. Oh my god, hi, Dr. Sherman. Hello, Leah. Welcome to the chat. Good to see you. Mr. Chairman of the board, I have an idea to make the damned tree scream. Cross-test it with SCP-682. The lizard may not die, but the scream would probably scream out of fear pain. So, Junior Researcher HLG, I admire your moxie, but the problem with that is 682 is mainly a defensive entity. Sure, it likes to kill all humans like any good bender-bending Rodriguez does, but it is not known to attack other anomalies outright unless attacked first. Therefore, the tree, which would not attack it, would just sit there being all tree-like. Meanwhile, if 682 did decide to attack the tree, it is possible it would destroy the tree, which would mean we'd no longer get to test it, and we can't risk that. So I like your moxie, but we can't roll that way. Again, we're not that extreme in our soundtrack right now. Enot Watcher, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a Twix bar on your way past the commissary. Canine Cat, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a Spider-Man themed ice cream bar with the little bubblegum eyeballs on your way past the commissary. Hello, Dr. Sherman. What would happen if you put 035 on a D class, and then I'm ignoring the rest of your message because we don't talk about that researcher in this chat, unfortunately. So while I appreciate your donation, putting a D class in 035, we know what happens, and we're not messing with that other doctor as far as I could throw him. So, fare thee well. Pimp Demon, make sure you check the chat rules, by the way, so you don't fall for any of those rule breaks like that and get hit by the hammer of Dr. Sherman. Pimp Demon, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a chalice of gin and juice on your way past the commissary. Shoots the 05 council on purpose. Oh, Dr. Sherman, I accidentally broke the 05. May I please have another? I'm just a silly little guy. Okay, before I answer him, guys, just, we've got this little chap sitting in a containment cell with a cork gun, and we're handing it action figures of the Men in Black and calling them the 05. So, just play along. Oh, okay, that was, not a good thing, but thankfully I'm sure that was an accident, and so we'll get you another 05 right away. Wink. Rebel Commander, thank you for donating again. But I love the fashion. I look way to go wearing it. Yes, but new anomalies have to be tested. So, Finders Keepers rule isn't applied. If it's not dangerous, we'll give it back. But that's our starting point. We have to test it first. Hey, Dr. Sherman, give me fuel. Well, Mig, why don't you give me fire? Give me that which I desire. Hooah. Zero, thank you for donating this. I think this is your first donation of today's stream. The first one was a membership, right? I want to double check. No, why is it not allowing me to do the tasks I wish? Yes, this is your first donation to today's chat, so please help yourself to a slaw dog on your way past the commissary. Here to report about these 1.5 feet amphibious aliens that are trying to conquer Earth by making a lot of money and plans that surprisingly fail. Shall we contain them or leave them be to fail over and over again? Are you talking about minions? Are you talking about minions right now? Are you telling me that there are minions? Oh, God, no. That's so annoying. There's so many of them. Can we just shoo them into one containment cell and call it done? Do we have to lock them in individual cells? Because that would cost so much. Do you know the high-rise containment site we would have to build to contain that many minions individually? Ugh. Lord. Questorus Maximus, thank you for donating again. What is your favorite mobile task force? Mine is New 7, codename Hammer Down. My favorite is codename Kappa 5. Mobile Task Force Kappa 5, codename Haughty Librarians. That's for ones that are on the wiki. They go to libraries and handle book-based anomalies. Sometimes videos if that library does video rentals as well. But outside of Kappa 5, my favorite, and outside of the wiki, my favorite mobile task force is Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codenamed the Signal Boosters. That's the team of you guys that shares SCP Foundation film and game concepts far and wide so they get eyes, that way people play them and support them. That's the best way for us to get more SCP projects after all. VW, thank you for donating again. Yeah, I found the commie spiders. They're pretty chill, but they want to read the Communist Manifesto to me. More importantly, they're eating my food and destroying my posters. Okay, up until then, it could have been that you were visiting the national park in which they are. But it sounds to me by saying posters that either you bought some posters and then stumbled into their woods, or more likely, you're in your office, which means the communist spiders have left their turf. That's a bigger problem. Let me know where we're at. Is Siren Head an SCP? King Shiny Litten, there's two answers to your question. The first one is that Siren Head, the Trevor Henderson created creature, is not an SCP. It is anomalous, it is definitely a spooky creepypasta monster, but it is not an SCP because it's not listed on the SCP database. Now that being said, a lot of people mistook Siren Head for an SCP back in the day, and someone, an author on the SCP Wiki, decided to get a bit cheeky, decided to get a bit wild out there, and made a boat with the figurehead at the front of the ship is a singing siren entity that lures people, boats, and stuff to their doom. And they called it Siren Head because it's a figurehead that's a siren. And so there is a Siren Head on the wiki, but it's not the Siren Head that most people are thinking about when they say Siren Head. They named it that to troll people, and it was highly effective. The bane of my existence, because I have to sit here and explain that Siren Head is both an SCP and not an SCP constantly. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating again. Okay, now I'm now confused. The person chasing me ran to the Mobile Task Force of the Ethics Committee. Did you call them? I wouldn't expect Law's left hand to answer a standard security call. And that means that someone from the Ethics Committee is already here on site. And they didn't alert me. Steve? Steve, look into which member of the Ethics Committee is here and why. And be sneaky about it. If they don't want to be seen, we don't want to spook them. Oh, this could be trouble. Chaos Insurgency. I cannot wait until you end this stream only to be amnesticized by the final cognitohazard that blaze at the end of each stream if you're not a member of the Foundation. I look forward to you forgetting how to read so your notes are all gibberish as well. Don't mess with us. Caracal, good to see you in the chat, and thank you for being a member. Thank you for your first donation of the day as well. Make sure to grab yourself a plate of curly fries on your way past the commissary. Good and bad news. I found out I can teleport to a group of 3 or more dead individuals who know about anomalies. Also, your 682 is out. I don't think our 682 is out. We were just talking about that. I think you're talking to a different universe with that one. Meanwhile, I can teleport to a group of 3 or more dead individuals who know about anomalies. That is a very specific... That's a very specific anomalous ability. I am quite confused about that. I wonder why you would need the ability, or want the ability, to teleport to somewhere where 3 people who know about anomalies died. I guess it would be good if we're investigating groups of interest that are in trouble, and so we teleport into their bases because they died, and we figure out what killed them and how we can use that to help us in the future. Okay. Highly limited, but, yeah, and there's no way to extract you, because we're not going to kill 3... Well, we could kill 3 D-class in order to... We could kill 3D class that know about the Anomalous to bring you back. You know, the more I think about this, the more we might be able to make this work. VW, thank you for donating again. Neither. They followed me to a private cabin I have up in Montana. They're not ripping my poster since I asked them not to, but they're still eating my food. I have a flamethrower, so get the MTF. Do not decommission the Anomalies, please. We do not destroy anomalies here at the Foundation, you know that. We'll get them. Chill. Do you know of any channels that post records and post SCP stories on their channel? Well, of course, you would have the Vulcan, Dr. Sumerian, Mr. Illustrated would be the big 3, besides yours truly. By the way, just advertising here, if you don't know about our audio archives of SCPs here on the website called YouTube, we have over 500 SCP readings in a playlist called The Sherm's Great Skip Dictations Master Playlist. So if you want to listen to some SCP documents, we have readings right here as well. We have 1 million followers, and they usually get like 300 views, so the algorithm does not like audio-only podcasts, apparently. I have returned after listening to Juice WRLD and crying myself to sleep after you called me a gawk sucker. Dr. H, GOC Executive. Well, if you're in the Global Occult Coalition, what else am I supposed to call you except a gawk sucker? Yo, I didn't know you went live. Well, Olive Jar, congratulations on your surprise. You made it. 2. By the way, we are 90 minutes into this stream, so there are 90 minutes left on today's office hours. Dr. Sherman, why can't the SCP Foundation create an AI/robot that can read every virus from 1025, the Book of Common Diseases, and then tell us everything that's in it? Think here. Part of the problem with SCP-1025 was not just that it gave you diseases. It also made everyone around it crazy. It made everyone super hypochondriacs. So, we just buried it because we do not need a bunch of AIs going crazy and ending up with diseases that are viruses. They think they have computer viruses. And then they pass that to us too. And then it spreads across the internet. It's very dangerous. Ten Tails, thank you for donating again. A lot of people really don't know Dr. Sherman goes live. Heck, even I didn't know you went live at first. Well, yes. Pardon. And to be fair, we have only been going live daily for a month and a week today. And we only go live for 1 to 3 hours. And we only go live at random times. There's not a set schedule, so it's always a surprise. That's life at the Foundation for you. Always unpredictable, unfortunately. But we've been getting a pretty good crowd, and more people are finding us along the way. So I think things are going pretty well at this rate. Is Dr. Kane Pathos Crow allergic to chocolate? Yes, Lee. Dr. Crow is allergic to chocolate, being, you know, a dog. And so dogs are famously allergic to chocolate. So is Dr. Kane Pathos Crow. Dr. Sherman, good news, I'm out of the Wanderer's library. Bad news, the snakes took the books. That's that they do. If anything, I'm just glad you made it out alive. I will eventually escape containment. Flowers, I find that highly unlikely. I'm in a lab right now, but we don't wear the lab coat. I thought this was a medical stream. No, researcher Keith, this is not a medical stream, although I'm sure that Foundation Medical does give orientations and seminars on the best way to treat anomalous diseases and such as that. But no, this is a office hours stream for general Foundation staff to have their questions answered about the Foundation. And I'm just wearing the lab coat, so I seem a bit professional since I'm doing this in a concert t-shirt today. If I'm not leaving the general area of my lab or dormitories, I don't see the need to go full clothed. Zero, thank you for donating again. Sometimes my donos don't go through. I didn't know that. That's unusual. When I'm here in the lab, I can see all the donations, even the ones that are under $2, or sorry, under $5. We know that that is a known problem out in the field. But here I can see everything. I've got a second screen for that. So, hopefully I'm not missing your donation questions. I'm sorry if that's the case and the tech is not being as reliable as it could be. Also, they call themselves Curonians. Curonians, you say? Interesting. I haven't heard of the Curonians in a very long time. So thank God you're not talking about minions, by the way. But, so if you're talking about the Curonians, then let me double check. Are we talking about the same Curonians? Okay, these are not the same Curonians I'm familiar with. The ones I'm familiar with manufacture the delicious beverage known as a Kiro Cola. They're friends with the Super Mario universe. But it seems like these Curonians are different. And so you said they are trying to take over the world by making a lot of money, but they keep failing. So I believe what we should do is, depending on where you are encountering them, if they are in a place that's easily isolated, we can just build a containment site around them and use that. Or if we've got to move them to a containment site, there's also that option. But they don't seem incredibly dangerous or expensive to move, so keep me updated on what's missing there. Dr. Sherman, I have a question for you. Do you hear the whistle? I don't hear any whistling at all. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating again. Oh, I asked the Mobile Task Force guys. They said they are not here for you. They apparently enjoy watching your videos. Said you should keep up the good work. Well, I'm both glad to hear that and suspicious. Sometimes they want you, but they're not going to say they want you until they get the evidence they need. Let's just keep an eye on their investigation, shall we? DJ Soundwave, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a Kiro Cola on your way past the commissary. First, thank you for the water that was more expensive than it should be. Yeah, you know that bottled water industry. Secondly, after researching 682's kill test, I can confidently say I need a nap. Oh, definitely. That is way too long a list. And if you really want to go to sleep, go read the SCP-914 test logs. Those go on for 800 years of reading. Jeez. Do you know that one SCP that takes pictures of people who download its app? Think if you stay in your room before downloading the app and then staying in the room for days, could it still send pictures? So, my first instinct is you're talking about Mallow because everyone who talks about an app is talking about Mallow, but there are other SCP apps, and maybe there is one that you are talking about differently. Let me scroll through here, back up from the database. Well, if there's an app other than Mallow, then I would suggest I can't find it with a quick search. Meanwhile, yes, even if you stay in your room, it will get you. So that's not going to protect you. Caracal, thank you for donating again. Even in the middle of nowhere, a short hall with a turn will appear. I go through it and boom, at least 3 dead bodies to loot, or I'm back in my box. Got a massive stack of IDs from many agencies. How peculiar. Well, we can use those to infiltrate the agencies ourselves, so that's not a bad idea. The Nicola. Dr. Sherman, why did you decide to make your hair a bit blonde? So, first of all, I've styled my hair in the past. I've done like a full peacock green and blue pattern. You'll see that in some of the videos that pop up from different universes where that's still in effect. For this one, the blonde highlight was specifically so I could then dye the hair, but only that particular set of strands. And the color we went with was silver or gray. I did this to kind of age myself up because I have a baby face, and so it would make me look like more of a legitimate SCP researcher. Plus, the whole silver fox look. So that being said, when the gray fades away, you're left with blonde highlights. Do a little of that Guy Fieri rollout. Still looks good either way. Zero, thank you for donating again. Try looking up the Hinata household. A lot of reports of strange happenings go on there to UFOs and the ancient castle absorbing everything around it, and nationwide memory loss and de-aging. I am not familiar with that at all. Household UFOs. Okay, so this is still in regards to the Coronians. 2-story building, smaller shed. It's a house, it's a house, it's a house. All right. Actually, this is great. If they're contained within this house, then we can just condemn the house on government papers and utilize our own staff to monitor and test. That sounds easy peasy. I love that for us. Love it when a containment plan comes together. What happens if a blind person looks at SCP-096? Well, it depends on if they are truly blind or legally blind, because legally blind people can still see some. And if they are on a threshold where they can still see 096's face, then the obvious thing happens. Now, if you are completely blind, see in black, then that means you cannot observe 096's face. Therefore, you cannot be attacked by it. So blind people are actually immune to 096. Just don't let them around 173 because that's the opposite. On top of which, the secondary problem becomes because when you have anomalous blind things, like Daredevil, whose supersonic hearing visualizations might be sharp enough to count as knowing what 096's face looked like, in which case Daredevil gets got. Meanwhile, the SCP-3008 entities don't have facial features, but I do not know if they see, so to speak, or if they move around through some sort of like heat sensing. If that happens, then they wouldn't have a problem with 096. SCP-2009, the parasitic fursuit. Is that a thing? I know about SCP-3312, the app that turns non-furries into feral furries. But no, SCP-2009 is not a parasitic fursuit. You need to read the database clearer if you're making that mistake. Don't get tricked by any off database entries like the fandom wiki. They always mix things up. It's a little rough. Hello, Dr. Sherman. I am from the Lonnie Donnie Foundation. What the hell is a Lonnie Donnie Foundation? And I'm happy to say that we have taken SCP-729-G. You'd better have a damn good reason for bringing up that thing. Pardon me for a second. Disgusting, monstrous thing. SCP-729-G. Unnecessary anomaly. We should just blow that thing up right now. I swear. 5320. That thing is not worth keeping around. Ugh. All right. What were you saying? From your universe and into ours. The O5 are not going to be happy with you confiscating one of our anomalies, even if it is that thing. So, put that thing back where you found it, or so help me. Caracal, thank you for donating again. Don't know who 682 it is, but Shark Punching Center and Chaos badges everywhere. Shark Punching Center doesn't normally fight lizards. That's a weird one. Going to ride 682 for a bit and listen to Find Us Alive. Have an awesome stream, bye. Well, I don't like the riding 682 Kondraki style, but Find Us Alive is a good choice. If you want a good SCP podcast and you don't know about Find Us Alive, go listen to it. It is very good. Junior Researcher Sally, thank you for donating again. Dr. Sherman, I discovered that I can walk through wall. I can now go everywhere. How can you go everywhere? You can only walk through one wall. I mean, yes, it's very nice to be able to walk through a wall, but what you're talking about requires much more walls. Peculiar. Chaos Insurgency, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Go grab yourself a vial of arsenic on your way past the commissary. I'm at your door. Well, I'll see you after you pick up that arsenic from the commissary. It tastes like almonds. You're going to love it. Unfailing Eagle, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a delicious fricassee on your way past the commissary. Good day, Doc. Field agent here. I'm trapped in an anomalous hotel with landscapes that are impossible. Oh, we get those spatial anomalies a lot. The rest of the team are either KIA or MIA, and And I'm here in a bar with every brand of alcohol ever made, so it could be worse. You're right, it could be worse. So I suggest stay put, keep your beacon active, and we will see if we can get an extraction team. Make sure to send any information you can to the team once they're in radio range. Wait a minute, are you that guy? Gold, look at me. Look, examine, take it in. I am obviously that guy. Everyone knows this. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating again. Carrying SCP-999 to you. Well, that's quite an armful. But, yeah, I guess I'll see you in a bit. Stream ends in... What is it? Take away the 2. Carry the 1. 14. An hour and 14 minutes until stream ends. Opinions on character AI SCP characters. Chat, what does the Foundation community, what does SCP authorship and artists think of character AI? The answer is quite clearly, unfortunately, not a big fan. If you want to interact with the Foundation verse, you are better off writing stories in the verse than talking with fake AIs that pretend to be the characters. And especially when I myself am right here for you to chat with. I do not think replacing me with a false AI that pretends to be me is that flattering. The SCP Foundation community is vastly anti-AI, so anytime you're bringing up generative AI of any sort around the SCP Foundation, you're going to get some big boos. I'm seeing the Dr. Sherman nausea emojis in the chat. Josh, piling onto this question. If people started making SCPs with AI? Yes, actually. And what happens is it is very frustrating for the wiki staff. They have to run everything through an AI detector now and to take down articles that are written with AI. It is very taxing to staff, and I wish people wouldn't do that because, I mean, come on. The point of writing an SCP to get something on the wiki is so that you have the clout that you are now an SCP author. You accomplish something. AI doing that for you is not going to cut it. You're not the person who made the article, the computer is. And even then, it probably did a derivative job and didn't come up with anything interesting on its own because that's not what it does. So, yes, wiki staff is very annoyed at having to deal with AI on the wiki. We would very much prefer people did not mess with that. Do I have to pay to make something on the wiki? Dion, you do not need to pay to put stuff on the SCP wiki. It is a free community to join. Sound check, sound check. Foundation staff, do you read me? Do you read me, Foundation staff? I see you saying, sound gone, sound gone. And now I'm waiting 30 seconds to see if sound come back, sound come back. Let me know when you're back. We're so back. Good to hear it. All right, so where did you lose me? I was talking about, sorry about that. We had a hostile data incursion. I believe it was some sort of anomalous artificial intelligence, probably 079 being a punk. But we got it cleared up. We got it cleared up. So anyways, I lost you in the chat because of the data incursion. But Dion, I think it was, go to the SCP Wiki. On the sidebar, there's a guide for newbies. There's how to join the site rules. Read all the guides. The most problematic part for people joining the Wiki is they don't do the actual job of reading these things. If you read the rules, it's plain as day how to join the Wiki and submit. And once you do, you'll be good to go. No cost necessary. Your shirt looks cool, Doctor. Ah, yes, I got this from the Powerline concert back in the day. I went and saw Powerline live in concert, although the strangest thing happened. This weird dude and his kid showed up for the final number. I don't know if that was planned. It was pretty weird. But, hey, it was still a pretty good show at the end of the day. Josh, if something is added to the wiki, does it become canon? If it lasts on the wiki past the community vote, then yes. Every article that goes up on the wiki is voted on by the community. And so if it is of a quality that people like, it stays, then it is canon. If it is not, if it is negative voted down to deletion, then you need to rewrite it and make it better. But everything on the wiki that is still there is canon. And a lot of things contradict, just like in comic books, so you got to pick the head canon you like. What is some basic advice for writing our own SCP stories, like how to make a good narrative? I am a dance teacher. I've directed theater. I've done a little acting teaching. But for writing instruction, the best I can offer you is go on my channel to a video called SCP Writing Tips from SCP Writers. That is a compilation of small tips that I have for you. On top of that, read the guides and the essays on the wiki. There's a whole hub of guides and essays written by SCP authors to help you know more about the universe and the writing process. Read a whole bunch of SCPs so that you internalize the format and the tropes of the wiki, because even if you're a very good writer, writing in the SCP format is tricky. And so you got to get around that. You got to get that in your head so that you can use the format to the best of your ability to make a good story. And so do those things and you'll have a step up on the competition. And by competition, I mean there is no competition. It's just everyone's having fun writing things. It's good. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating twice. Once to tell me the sound died and once to tell me it's back. I appreciate your help from the chat. Zero, thank you for donating again. Mission failed. Small, angry red one fought us off, but cut losses. They probably won't succeed in their invasion anyways. Okay. Let's just keep an eye on them and see how we do. Ten Tails Gaming, thank you for donating again. Dr. Shaveman, listen, I like this. I'm not losing the facial hair anytime soon. I'm not shaving anything. Who told Abel about my existence? Whoever told Abel. I despise them as I now need to fight for my life once more. Thank you, Foundation. What's your beef with Abel? I didn't know you had a beef with Abel. That's peculiar. Dr. Sherman, have you ever heard of Cookie Run Kingdom or Epic the Musical? So, I know nothing about Cookie Run Kingdom. I don't have a clue about that. Never heard of it. Epic the Musical, I am tangentially familiar. I heard about Epic the Musical on TikTok, like most of us. And I heard one song that I thought was super, super dope. I think it was the Turning Them Into Pigs song. And then I completely lost track of it for a couple of years until Shay Frillis Productions, awesome YouTube channel, just shared a video about Epic the Musical just last week. And so that was where I caught up on how it's been going and such. So that is where I stand with that. Serial Ducky, who's Abel? Abel is the name of the entity that we also designate SCP-076-2. Abel is a cantankerous fight boy who respawns upon death after a time and then continually tries to breach the facility, and our guards have to kill it again, and then it respawns, and then we kill it again, and then it respawns, and it's really a waste of resources, but we can't let it out. I mean, we'll just go ham on everything. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating again. Was I not supposed to tell Abel about Ten Tails so Abel wouldn't hurt me? Okay, well, admitting that was a brave plan, so now we get to see if Ten Tails will forgive you for your discretion there. Lack of discretion. Leaf, I love musicals, grah. Ah, so I would assume then, based by that you are not the man who hated musicals. That is a different man than you, I guess. Me wondering if anyone's going to catch that reference. Doctor, why is there a teddy bear in my room? It looks strange. Well, that could be a lot of things. There could be a teddy bear that is a friendly patchwork bear that heals injuries. There could be a teddy bear that will end your whole existence very quickly. You need to be more specific with the look of the teddy bear and what actions it's doing. I mean, is it even a living teddy bear, or is it just a normal teddy bear that showed up unexpectedly? It could just be a normal teddy bear for all I know. What is your favorite musical as a theater kid? Well, what I would say, I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite musical when you're a theater kid because you love them all for different reasons. But I would say that my dream role, if I ever got the opportunity, was I would like to play Emmett in Legally Blonde the Musical. Chip on My Shoulder is a dream song for me to take a swing at. Also, I could do a really mean Princeton from Avenue Q. At least vocally. I'm not sure about look-wise, because I've not seen that. I've only heard the cast recording. Meanwhile, yeah, my highest rank in doing musical theater is I did a church production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, in which I played Joseph. And that was a good time. Dr. Sherman, are you fond with certain staff? Meaning other than just having them as a sort of acquaintance? Well, I mean, I am friends and buddies with lots of Foundation staff members at Site 42. We like to hang out and do fun things, for sure. D&D night's always a gas. Poker night's fun. The SCP Fight Club. I mean, the tea parties. The tea parties that we have are great. So that is, yes. You just don't want to get too attached because you lose people so often here at the Foundation. It's better to stay a little distanced. I think you could do a really good Sweeney Todd. Well, I never thought about that, but I might be able to pull a little bit of the bass in the voice for that. A little bit of the anger. Yeah. Everyone donate now. MK Ultra? Like your namesake, incepting ideas into people's heads, I appreciate the work you're doing. How do I get hired? Well, Goofy Productions. First of all, you're going to need a more professional name because researcher Goofy is not going to fit the Foundation staff roster. Secondly, if you want to get hired at the Foundation, you need to be the best of the best of the best. And then we come and find you. So continue working on the best you can. And if your internship ends well, since you're here in this chat, you must be a Foundation staff member. That means that if your internship ends well, then you'll be assigned a staff role immediately after. Dr. Sherman, hello. Curiouser and curiouser you are. Curiouser and curiouser. Fight Club, You are now under ethics investigation. No, there's no SCP Fight Club. We definitely do not have an SCP Fight Club. We do not pit SCPs against each other for fun and profit. That is not a thing we do. You don't have to worry about it. We would never do such a thing, let alone talk about it. The Scarlet King or Oswald? Ah, I see. You have taken on the name properly. Good work. I'm glad you've worked through your identity issues and you are now accepting the truth. Gamers against weed, what up? Oh no. Please do not tell me there are gamers against weed in our chat. Is that what that data incursion was? Oh, they are so frustrating. Lesbian Gengar, is that you? Oh Lord, not this again. Let me pull up the database, make sure it's not corrupted. Okay, the database entry looks fine. Alright, it doesn't look like Gamers Against Weed is in the chat. Whew. That would be very frustrating. I do not need any anomalous memes interrupting our chat. Rebel Commander, thank you for donating again. You should collab with Villain Support, the channel. Oh, yeah, Villain Support is dope. We used to collaborate a lot on TikTok, but I haven't seen them on YouTube yet. I will have to check. Agent found edits. Okay, change my name. Good job. That will make your hire-ship much more likely. Seif, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a apricot on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, status on the tree. Are you asking to mock me? You know 4521 hasn't screamed. You know that. We've talked about that today in chat. Are you just getting here? Is that your excuse? You can just look at the database. You can see the tests. It will scream. Mark my words. Markiplier my words. It will scream. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating again. I once went to the theatrical performance of Dracula on a school field trip. Oh, that's very nice. I'm glad the school is bringing you to do art things. Budgets keep getting slashed, and the first thing that gets slashed is art. So I'm glad you at least got to have that experience. If this alleged, quote, fight club, end quote, existed, where would one go to view and or participate in them? Oh, researcher Jutunin, I can't imagine that such an SCP Fight Club were to exist. Definitely not in the deep bowels of Sector C-17 in the East Wing. Definitely not a place where I would go to see non-existent an SCP Fight Club. For sure, that's not at all the place. And I definitely wouldn't bring at least $500 for the Benton. I wouldn't do that at all because it doesn't exist. It's, you're fine, you're fine. All of it's just make-believe. Dr. Sherman, is Australia considered anomalous? Let me check the database because I know for a fact the meme, meanwhile, in Australia is anomalous. If you look up SCP 5883 on the database, 5883 is a formerly anomalous meme called Meanwhile in Australia. And so that is somewhat related to Australia as being anomalous. But that being said, let me see if there's anything else Aussie that is SCP related. 4297 is a flock of anomalous emus. SCP-3477 is a collection of anomalous humanoids, each claiming to be the 17th Prime Minister of Australia, Harold Holt. Okay. SCP-992 is an elderly Australian Aboriginal male. I don't know what its anomaly is from here. When left alone, it attempts to converse with various forms of plants and animals, and will receive prophetic visions while conversing with them. Huh. Interesting. So yeah, there's a couple Australian anomalies, but honestly, unlike Ohio, which has a very high anomaly to space density, Australia is considerably more normal than one would expect. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating twice again. It was in the late 90s, early 2000s. Ohio is so anomalies, it's normal. Yes, so that was back in the day, understandable. And meanwhile, yes, Ohio is a problem of its own. Don't get me started on Mayor Lovecraft. Sent me a freaking signed campaign poster after I tried to have him defeated for his mayorship, and it didn't work. Ugh, bastard. Lovely voice, though. I'ma tell Mayor Lovecraft you slammed Ohio. Of course. Of course you're a double agent for the Ohioans, Amber. Oh, and by the way, thank you for your direct donation yesterday. I did see that. Thank you very much. For those who don't know, YouTube takes about 30% of a super chat, whereas Ko-Fi doesn't take from your donation. So some people choose to do one-time donations through Ko-Fi for that reason, but that's up to them. Dr. Sherman, how many things do we know 055 isn't? You know, it's difficult to tell because if you look at the SCP-055 document, it is continually not changing and not being updated. You'd think we would just list the things that are not there, but that it's not. But obviously the list isn't growing. So something else is happening there. I'm not sure about that at all. Agent found edits. Oh, wow, you changed your profile picture too. Now you are even more SCP coded. I see you. Jacob, thank you for what I believe might be your first donation for today's stream. Let me double check. Yes, indeed it is. And so, help yourself to a Irish coffee on your way past the commissary. Hear me out. What if SCP-127 was turned into a minigun with AP rounds, and the Chaos Insurgency used it? And they also used SCP-1344 and Weil on 207. This is a worryingly thorough plan you seem to have come up with. I wonder what kind of hypotheticals you are working on. Oh, the energy coke. Great. 1344. 5 goggles, various types. Anomalous behavior when worn. Well, I'm gonna go based on the belief of this. Because the Chaos Insurgency are so idiotic and undisciplined, I'm going to assume that once they drank the super energy Coke, they would overdrink it and explode. I do not think they have the discipline to not drink that much. If they had the discipline not to drink that much, they wouldn't have defected from the Foundation in the first place. Hey, did Germa escape containment? Listen. First of all, that thing is dynamite. I don't even know how people deal with that thing, let alone that whole snapping the fingers BS you saw in that security feed. Number two, I don't know how that security feed went public, and we have to frame it as a, oh, it's just a silly meme video. It's just CGI. Good men died that day. Third, we really just, we're trying to get it back in a box, man, but it's hard. It's hard. Dr. Sherm, as a former Are We Cool Yet member, I totally agree that art is important. Yes, obviously art is an important facet of life. As Robin Williams said in Dead Poet Society, art and poetry is why we are alive. We do a lot of things to stay alive, but we also have things that we live for, and art is one of those things. So definitely, and thankfully you defected from Are We Cool Yet with their pissant metaphors that barely do anything beyond the surface level of art, and also kill the person who sees them so that it's not worth making a change in their lives anyways. Ridiculous. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating again. 999 is now carrying me to you. Wow, slime surfing. Omen Heart, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a horn of mead on your way past the commissary. For any getting a drink from the break room, watch out. They've been switched with my experimental 504 extra tomato energy drinks. Not my doing. Don't tell any bad jokes near the tomato drinks. They will drown you. Oh, I didn't know what that said. But now I do. That was Dr. Sherm Pie. That's what you said. You emphasized it, and I thought it was just a glitch. Oh, monstrous. Terrible. Terrible. Although, literally, you could say that Sherm Pie didn't notice that. Oh, son of a... Dr. Sherman, can you tell us a bad joke? I cannot tell you a bad joke right now for two reasons. Number one, there's SCP-504 on the loose, and I'm not risking being a broken nose or drowned or both. And secondly, I've never told a bad joke in my life, and therefore I am incapable. Wolfie Star, good to see you in the chat. Thank you for being a member. Hey, Dr. Sherman, Lord Frieza here. If you could contain Goku for me, I'd appreciate it. Oh, sure. Also, we will, contain you as well. Aliens are obviously anomalous. Especially alien real estate agents. I mean, come on. Do you not do stuff on TikTok anymore? I haven't seen you in years. Panzerman, I do sometimes still make TikTok videos, although it's more spread out nowadays, because the algorithm has not favored cosplay content in general in a long time. So when I make a video on TikTok, I get such little views that it becomes very much unworth it. Although it is good to make them because then I can proliferate them on platforms where we're more appreciated. So the YouTube channel has been doing gangbusters recently, and so I've been focusing more on that. But I will still make TikToks as long as it's around because there is a good audience over there. And I get homesick for the early days. Jacob, thank you for donating again. What if we cloned SCP-018 with SCP-038 and use it on the GOC? Nope, not that one. Don't add extra digits. Oh, 038. My bad. The everything tree. Yeah, that's what I thought you would mean. So that thing is far too dangerous to let loose. End of story. That ball is far too dangerous to let loose. Ergo, I don't even want one of them loose, let alone multiple. It might do some damage, but then it'll come back and bite us. It'll bounce right back on us. Can you turn down slow mode from 60 seconds to 20, please? Slow mode is set to 30 seconds. So that's close enough. It takes 10,000 bananas in 10 minutes to die of radiation poisoning. Try it on the tree. Well, I'm very familiar with the math of bananas to radiation poison because we have Dado's banana pill. Banana pill by Dado. Let me pull that up on the database real quick. Banana pill by Dado. SCP-3521. Banana pill by Dado. It is the group designation for a bottle of pills which spawn a lethal dose of radiation's worth of bananas in your stomach. So, you know, before you die of radiation poisoning, you first explode in a slurry of bananas that would make Donkey Kong jealous of the horde. So, the banana pill, we already know the math because of that. Omen Heart, thank you for donating again. The next person who makes a bad joke gets to spend 24 hours with 999. What? I didn't approve this. 24 hours. That's a whole day off of work. I'm not allowing that. The Masked Artist. Dr. Sherman, help me. Clef from my universe is chasing me and talking about decommissioning me, even though I'm just an anomalous researcher. What should I do? What'd you do to piss off Clef? Clef ain't trying to decommission you for no reason. You must have a pretty good reason to decommission a staff member. You be careful. It sounds like you're in trouble. And in fact, maybe not be careful, because Clef's after you. I usually agree with Clef's actions. Dr. Sherman, have your SCP agents infiltrated my private law firm, Barnes-Lee Attorneys and Associates? And what is the purpose of this? I plead the fifth. And also, you know what you're up to. Dr. Sherman, someone used some of the SCP-8123 mushrooms to make mushroom soup. Oh, no. No, okay. Do not eat the mushroom soup. Do not join the hive mind. It might seem good at the time, but we know how that ends, and it doesn't end good. That is not possible. 999 is with me, coming to you. Thank you for donating again, Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, and sure, that's the reason why that's not going to work. Doctor, would stands from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure be considered anomalies as well as the vampires in the series? Very obviously, yes. Most of humanity does not have stands, which means the few that do would be anomalous. So they would definitely be, both vampires and stands are anomalies in the eyes of the Foundation. Omen Heart, thank you for donating again. Mushroom soup, new food item for the SCP cooking show? No! No, we're not doing 8123 soup because it puts you in a hive mind. The anomalous effect is too dire. We are not going to do that. Remember, at the end of that article, when the hive mind died and everyone was disconnected, they all offed themselves. It was not good. So you're all signing up for crippling depression, if not death, by drinking that soup. What makes something anomalous? Well, the Berry Bears, if it is outside of the consensus knowledge of the rules of nature and physics, then it is anomalous. That's basically all you need to know. Jacob, thank you for donating again. I know how the Foundation gets Class D, SCP-008. I am unfamiliar with an anomaly. Let me check it on the database. Cloning machine. Mechanical device capable of producing live specimens of any life form, extinct or otherwise, and provide a valid sample of said life form's DNA. The rate at which SCP-6058 performs this function is variable and believed to be dependent on the size of the organism in question. Once completed, 6058 will expel its reproduction through a metal shaft at the base of the object. Further attempts to analyze the interior structures of 6058 have resulted in failure. Produced a tarantula. Produced 2 tarantulas. Produced a deceased woolly mammoth calf. Please upgrade payment plan for products exceeding 9,000 kilograms. Interesting. So, yeah, I would not be shocked if a Foundation cloning effort for D-Class were in line. That's a hypothesis I've had for a long time, actually, is that D-Class are clones. But it's hard to prove because they are all very different looking and acting. And they seem human, so it's a question of how many clone templates are they working off that we haven't seen duplicates, so to speak. Chris the Dire Wolfboy, thank you for donating again. Me and 999 are eating rock candy. Oh, Lord. Giving it sugar, and you're bringing it to my office? Oh, my vengeance will be swift. My vengeance will be forceful. By the way, chat, we are approximately 37 minutes from the end of stream. 37 minutes. Unfailing Eagle, thank you for donating again. Field agent update. The hotel staff have taken on the appearance of my fellow KIA agents and have cut me off from the bar and are now guiding me to the theater. Oh, wow, my database link crashed. That's an ominous sign for you. Reloading, reloading. And are now guiding me to the theater for production of The King in Yellow. That's peculiar because usually that production takes place and then it's a group of living people who get into suts. But you're dealing with a bunch of entities claiming to be your cohort and putting you into the... This is really strange. But keep me posted on how it's going. I'm a little worried with this new iteration of this anomaly. We could be onto something here. Can you do an adieu singing impression? I don't know what that means, Cereal Ducky. I mean, I can sing, but I don't know what an ado singing impression is. Come on, where is it? There's gullible written in the database. Well, that's not shocking. It's a pretty general word. I would not be shocked if the word gullible appeared on the SCP database. For instance, 3740 is remarkably gullible. 6184 quotes, "He was so gullible." 5556 refers to a group of humanoids resembling garden gnomes. That's not gullible. SCP-4606. Dean told me that his brother was too naive and gullible for someone his age. Okay, so there's, yeah, gullible is in the database a lot of times. You are correct about that. It's been so long since I've seen you, you look different. Well, Mystery, you might be in a different universe than you're used to. Some Dr. Shermans are younger, some are older, some are more facial-haired or less, some are blonder or green-haired or others. It's a large universe. Have you ever heard of SCP Explained? Yes, Games, I am familiar with their channel. They are an offshoot of the Infographics show. They're one of the less egregious content farms out there when it comes to doing their work. And their voice actor Hunter is a pretty cool dude. Das Mulas, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a popsicle on your way past the commissary. Doc, can I get your opinions on an SCP I wrote? I can only look at and access SCPs that are on the wiki database proper. Due to the amount of Site-42 staff who are SCP authors, I cannot critique unfinished SCPs, because then I wouldn't hang out on stream with you guys. I'd just be busy reading people's articles all day. So I only look at SCPs that are on the wiki. If you got an SCP on the wiki, I'm happy to take a look at that. That's just a general channel rule to remember. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating again. It took me to the rock candy. I can't stop it from eating the rock candy. You can move the rock candy. You don't have to give it the rock candy. Come on, show some agency. Show some mustard. You're a Foundation staff member. Jacob, thank you for donating again. What happens if you give an IKEA employment application to an SCP-3008-2? Would you be attacked during night still? Yes, unless you are an official employee of the IKEA, you would be attacked. So filling out an application does not an employee make, because none of them are going to approve and hire you. Doc, it's not for the wiki. I wrote it for my art class final project, that's why. You're playing on my sympathies. I promise to give it no more than 5 minutes of a look through, a skim, if you send it to my business email address. That's the most I can offer. Ruby, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a chicken sandwich on your way past the commissary. Could SCP-5094 have info on how to kill SCP-682? Well, I'll tell you this. Miss J is very helpful in a lot of ways, but Miss J doesn't know everything. And reacting to 682 is not on her docket. Its docket. Sorry, I just like that anomaly. What's your most recently played and or favorite video game? Well, my favorite video games are, as is the cliche of most YouTubers in this space that I notice, Earthbound is my favorite game of all time. Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars is my second favorite. Meanwhile, if we come to more modern gaming, what am I playing right now? I'm currently playing Enter the Gungeon in anticipation for the sequel coming out eventually. Das Mulas, the business email, is in our support link. You'll find it in the description. Cool Dodd, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a cruller on your way past the commissary. Attention all personnel. Mobile Task Force, Resh 1, has entered the facility, along with the Amnester. Is that an amnestical administrator, or is that just the administrator? That's interesting. I did not have a on-site visit from the Amnester on the docket today. Okay, you did mean administrator, you just misspelled. I see. So I don't have a visit from the administrator on our docket for today, so I'm very confused. I'm going to have to get more information on that. So you're the SCP guy that was all over TikTok a few years ago. You were right, Tree Robotics. We are still going strong over here on the Site 42 YouTube channel. I make some TikToks from time to time, but unfortunately they are very unfriendly to SCP TikTok right now in the algorithm. They were very friendly to us back in the day, and now that cosplayers are all having sort of problems. So YouTube is being a lot friendlier to us, so that's where we make our home, although we still do a little bit of TikToking from time to time. Chris the Direwolf Boy, thank you for donating again. It's holding me, and after becoming a Direwolf Boy, I'm currently 3 feet tall, or 0.9144 meters. Well, yeah, slime surfing. We talked about that. Who took SCP blank-J from my desk? Nix, don't worry about it. I'm sure it'll turn up. We can wait and see. Desk, good to see you in the chat, mi amigo. Hope you are doing well. We are currently 30 minutes from the end of stream, for those who are keeping track. Dr. Sperm, I'm Dr. Sherman. Oh, God. Frickin'. Vorjesus 5991. That's the one I'm invoking when I say, oh, God, at this point. I'm cornered by a gender-bending 049. It's the slutty one. Your universe is terrible, you know that? Because our 049, even when gender-bent, is not this kind of issue. Do not fraternize with the anomaly. That's rule 1. You know it very well. Get out of there. Get. Do the, what's that over there? 049 will fall for it. Trust me. It's a dumbass. Dr. Sherman, is Peanut still mad at me for when I painted Mona Lisa on its face? Not his face, its face. Get your pronouns right. Anomalies are objects, not its. And especially, it's a statue. It doesn't have a gender. Come on now. So, I don't know how to tell if a statue / sculpture has emotions. Therefore, I don't know if it was ever mad at you, let alone how it could still be mad at you. Meanwhile, I'm a little shocked that you were able to paint the Mona Lisa on it without blinking, and therefore dying. So, neat trick. Chris the Direwolf Boy, thank you for donating again. I reminded 999 you need help. It stopped eating rock candy. Okay, maybe it'll be chill. Maybe. Hi. Dr. Sherman, I want to know more about pattern screamers. Any details you can tell me about? Also, what happens if 682 meets a pattern screamer or thing of the such? So, for pattern screaming. Obviously, you're going to look up SCP-3930 first, because that is the, I believe, first iteration of pattern screamers on the wiki. Secondarily, you can look into the series that starts with SCP-3426. SCP-3426 is the beginning of a series where essentially, I'm going to tell you some spoilers right now, so cover your ears for a moment until I wave like this to avoid spoilers. I'll wave when I'm done. So the spoiler alert for this series is that the entire universe that this version of the Foundation takes place in is anomalous, is a simulation. And when planets get wise that they're in a simulation, entities of pure nothingness, the pattern screamers, spawn and erase that planet's civilization so that no one knows about it. And so humanity eventually figures it out, gets attacked. My tale, Ignorance is Bliss, is part of this series. It's the inspiration was basically Terminator in the SCP universe. You're running through the apocalypse, entities are unstoppable entities are chasing you. And yeah, so that's a good place to learn more about pattern screamers, as well as looking at their tag in the wiki at the bottom of articles that include them. You'll find a bunch. Okay, spoilers are over. Spoilers are over. Welcome back, spoilers are over. Junior Researcher HLG, I think we talked about this. Do you know about any channels that post records and post SCP tales on their channel? Again, Volgan, Sumerian, and Mr. Illustrated. Also, let me shout out some lesser-known ones real quick. Agent Maxwell does SCP readings. Agent Maxwell does some pretty good work. Or is it Dr. Maxwell? YouTube. Dr. Maxwell readings. It's Dr. Maxwell I'm speaking of. Dr. Maxwell SCP does some quality SCP readings. You can also check out SCP Unredacted is a pretty decent one, as far as I remember. And SCP Archives, I've partnered with them in the past. So there's some other SCP readers if you want to avoid the mainstream ones at the start that everyone already knows. Das Mulas, I saw your email notification. Lich Dolls, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a cup of imaginary tea on your way past the commissary. Indecisive, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a package of red vines on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, would you like to visit Lonnie Dimension? I don't know what that is. Therefore, I don't think I do. No, I like it right where I am. Calypso, I'm putting you on a moderator timeout. Please do not imply that Anomalies are trying to fraternize with you and that you are a child. That's kind of unprofessional and gross. Please avoid that in the future. Unfailing Eagle, thank you for donating again. Field agent update, the hotel staff slashed both my hamstrings to stop me from running. I managed to slip out while they got distracted during Act 1. I'm crawling down the endless halls, trying not to bleed out. That's incredibly violent of them. This is pretty, that is pretty intense. What the hell hotel are you in? What was your last known location before going in there? What city are you in? Where are you? Jeez. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating again. What spoilers? I did not hear you say anything except blah, 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 blah. Spoilers are over, spoilers are over. Ah, yes, the Cognito Hazard did its job then. Good work. Who would win in a fight, 682 or 169? Isn't 169 unconscious? Didn't I hear that somewhere? A marine arthropod of enormous size known as the Leviathan. Yeah, I think our hypothesis is that 169 is massive, but also it is unconscious and is just drifting. So it's not really one for a fight. Also, just a quick heads up, a lot of people think the Leviathan, SCP-169, is some sort of Loch Ness monster type anomaly, but it says right there is an arthropod. It's more like a crab or a horseshoe crab of some sort. It's got shell, it's a bug, it's insectoid looking, it's a sea bug. It's not a... It is not some sort of like Loch Ness monster lizard type thing. Just a fun fact a lot of people overlook. Oh, this chat is far behind. That's why I'm confused. Bames Nond. Please, Dr. Sherman, I don't know how many times I have typed this. Please answer. Before I answer, just remember, there are 200 people in this chat. I've got slow mode on, but there's still a lot of chat. So please do not feel like I'm ignoring you on purpose. I will let you know if there's a reason for me to ignore you on purpose, as I just did when I dropped a hammer a minute ago. But no, just remember, it's just because I'm not seeing your messages. So be cautious with that. Don't be personally offended, please. I'm doing my best here. What happens if we put SCP-096 in front of a mirror? All of that for such a simple question? Come on, son. Come on, son. SCP-096 already knows what it looks like. That's why it's so upset when people find out about it. So it's not going to care if it sees itself. It's not going to activate and off itself. It's just going to keep crying. Come on, that's kid stuff. I've answered that in 1,000 streams by now, which is pretty impressive, even though I've only streamed for 38 days in a row. Lich Dolls, thank you for donating again. Mobile Task Force Zeta 9 here. SCP-079 has broken containment. All persons are advised to avoid clicking suspicious links or links you have doubles of. Oof, that is not a good thing. I don't like that. Yes, be cautious with your OPSEC today, people. And Zeta 9, have you figured out what caused the breach? Doc, does the 05 know about your streams? Of course, Calico. Of course the 05 know. I am, after all, working at the Site-42, which is the best archive and broadcast site in the Foundation. And so, if your universe is one where the masquerade is not broken, then this stream is only seen by Foundation staff members. Now, maybe you're a member of Site-42 staff, if you're subscribed you are, or especially if you're a member. Or maybe you're a member of a different SCP Foundation site somewhere across the world. Or maybe you are a sleeper agent who just woke up and you're seeing this stream, in which case, look under your chair for your assignment and welcome back, agent. If you exist in a world where the masquerade is broken and people know about the Anomalous and the Foundation, then my broadcasts are allowed because I'm teaching the people about the public, showing them the good work we do at the Foundation, taking care of them, making sure they're okay. Dr. Sherman, I remember someone telling me that President Donald Trump is an anomaly. Is that true? Yes. So, Donald Trump is part of the containment procedures for SCP-5004. President Trump is not the SCP itself. It is part of the containment procedures because Donald Trump is what we call a reality sink. SCP, in the SCP universe, a reality sink is like a living Scranton reality anchor. It is an anomalous individual who, just being next to things, makes them non-anomalous while in their presence. Now, what this means is a couple things. Number one, it means that there's only a couple of these planet-wide. And yes, as Desk is saying in the chat, Alto Clef is one of the more famous reality sinks in existence. Alto Clef is a reality sink. Donald Trump is a reality sink. Correct me if I'm wrong, Desk. Isn't there some kid in some Midwest town who's also a reality sink, but they're only like 12 or something? But yes, they're very uncommon. That being said, being a reality sink has some very detrimental effects on your psyche. You may have noticed that President Trump is a little bit, a little bit unintelligent, a little bit problematic mentally so. And that is because of the effects of being a reality sink. Honestly, I'm surprised Clef is as coherent as he is, considering he has the same issue. Yes, but Desk is particularly bitter because Alto Clef was slated to possibly be the president to help contain 5004, but we decided that would be worse than having Donald Trump be president. It was a tough call. Honestly, I'm not sure we made the right choice. Chris the Dire Wolfboy, thank you for donating again. Are the Power Rangers anomalies? Technically, no. The Power Rangers are normal humanoids, but Zordon and Alpha and all of them are anomalous, and the Power Ranger suits and abilities and the Zords are definitely anomalous. RB, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a Heath bar on your way past the commissary. Are you anomalous? Me, Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director of Site 42? Anomalous? No! Of course not. Why would you think that? That's crazy talk. Me, anomalous? Crazy. No, not at all anomalous. We don't even have to think about that. That's just so outlandish. Dr. Sherman, is Greenland anomalous? Listen, to my knowledge, the only areas that are actually anomalous is, on the database, Massachusetts. That's the biggest anomalous location that I know of, and it's a state, SCP-4006, where Massachusetts does not actually exist. But that being said, I can look into Greenland and see what's happening over there. 1362 designates an anomalous 500 square meter area within Greenland. Okay, so that is an area within Greenland. 6825 is a large biomechanical device currently located in Greenland. 2066 is contained in a standard humanoid containment chamber constructed at its original discovery location in Greenland. SCP-182 is kept in a small, environmentally sealed structure on an otherwise uninhabited island situated 10 kilometers off the coast of Greenland. So yeah, there's a lot of anomalous stuff happening around Greenland. Actually, it's quite a bit, considering it's a small area. Weird. Avery the Doodler. All right, I gotta get going. Gonna play some Geometry Dash and then go to bed. See y'all. All right, yeah, you're not missing much. We're only 10 minutes to the end of stream, so you're not going to miss too much. Don't worry about it. You can catch up on that easily tomorrow. So, good night, good night. Since you are the co-director of Site 42, what does the O5 think of you posting videos on the site? So, wait, what do you mean co-director? Who is co-directing with me? I'm not aware of any co-director of Site 42. What the hell? I need to look into this. Meanwhile, the O5 is fine with me posting videos on the database. It's just a member that I need to make sure there are to the quality of database entries in general. So that's why I haven't done so yet, because I want to make sure when I make my first video entry into the SCP database, it's going to be a doozy. Ellie's Little Adventures. Is Ohio an anomaly? Listen, it's not on the SCP database, but I'm certain the area of Ohio is anomalous AF. Just, it's a hunch. I believe it wholeheartedly. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating again. How many anomalies are in Kentucky? How many anomalies are in Kentucky? I don't think I'll be able to list all of them unless there's not that many. 3250 affects people who eat Kentucky Fried Chicken. Interesting. 957 seems to be in Kentucky. Yes. 1351 is located within Mammoth Cave National Park in Kentucky. 046 is a predatory botanical mass located in southwestern Kentucky. So yeah, there's a couple anomalies there. How many presidents have been anomalous? Oh, that's a bit of a hard question for me to answer in a tight format like this chat, because a lot of them have been. Obviously, we all know about Benjamin Franklin's magical wish-granting penis. Several other presidents alongside Benjamin Franklin were anomalous. Zerdrin, you should totally let me out of this box. It'd be hilarious. Big old Bugs Bunny, no. I'm not sure if that was Bugs Bunny or Dr. Evil. Either way works. What was I looking up? Presidents, anomalous presidents. I'm going to look up SCP President. So, the President of the United States is affected by an anomaly every night at 7:53 p.m., according to SCP-5092. Obviously, SCP-4444 has Al Gore being anomalous, and Dr. Elias Shaw possessing George W. Bush to handle that situation. Oh, you're right, Ben Franklin is not a president. Sorry, Desk. I got confused with Founding Fathers for a minute. 2776 looks like a animatronic of George Washington, but it's not actually George Washington. 5813 is the 13th President of the United States, Millard Fillmore. I didn't know that one was an anomaly. 1797-J is a polymorphic oil portrait of George Washington. So another image of George Washington that's a president, but not George Washington itself. But I think in Ben Franklin's article, we discover that Washington is anomalous. Let me double check that real quick. Ben Franklin, 3313, Benjamin Franklin's magical wish-granting penis. So it turns out that, all right, so Incident Omega 54 documentation. On July 3rd, 2017, the Chaos Insurgency, those idiots, completed a ritual to resurrect several of the United States founding fathers in an effort to complete a coup of the U.S. government. Included in this ritual were George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Alexander Hamilton, and SCP-3313, or 3313-1. Current dossiers recovered by the SCP Foundation indicate that in addition to various anomalous properties possessed by these 5 individuals, SCP-3313-1 possessed no penis. Further information on these anomalous properties may be found in document Omega 54-J. All 5 individuals escaped Chaos Insurgency custody by July 6th and are currently at large. Prior to this incident, SCP-3313 was kept in a standard containment chamber in the low-value containment division of Site-88. On July 9th, SCP-3313-1 gained access to Site-88's low-value containment division and was allowed to come in contact with SCP-3313. Okay, and that's when he escaped because he made a wish with his magical wish-granting penis. Say it with me now. So, yes, that means that at the very least, Jefferson, Washington, and Adams were also anomalous presidents. But Alexander Hamilton was not president, never going to be president now, therefore was not an anomalous president, but was an anomalous founding father. What I was scrolling and then I just heard Ben Franklin's magic penis. No, Clover, you heard Benjamin Franklin's magical wish-granting penis. You're missing words. Don't cut that out. It's important. That's SCP-3313 for you. I didn't make this up. Dr. Sumerian made this up, actually. Dr. Sumerian's the author of that one. So it's his fault, not mine. Unfailing Eagle, thank you for donating again. Field agent update, bumbling through the impossible landscape of the hotel, I found a door that led to a ceiling tile in my office, then falling and landing hard on my desk. Can I get a medical to my office? You found a door that led to a ceiling tile in your office, meaning that there is a portal to this anomaly in your office and that entities may still be in pursuit. Security's going first, medical second. Jeez Louise. Oh yes, Giga Monkey. I forgot about your second half of the question. What if 682 met a pattern screamer? And the answer to that is pattern screamers don't really want to exist. Therefore, they don't mess with you unless you mess with them. And 682 would just not think of the pattern screamer. Therefore, the pattern screamer wouldn't attack it. By the way, we have 2 minutes left in this stream, people. 2 minutes left. So hopefully you've got some really good questions to get in before the buzzer. There we go. I've got that pulled up. Christadar Wolfboy, thank you for donating again. Singing Team 4-star Alexander Anderson theme song. I am familiar with the existence of Team 4-star, but I have never looked at their works. I hear they're pretty good. Dasmulus, yes, I will take a quick look at your school project after we end stream, and I will send you a reply. It will be, as I said, very short, very brief, but you've engaged my sympathy, so I'm interested. Junior Researcher Sally, good celebration, 300 likes for 175 viewers. That is good job. You can hit that like button a couple more times to end it on a high note as we come to a finish in the next 30 seconds. Oh, hey, you're still streaming? Just got back from voice lessons. Nice, Drowsy. Love voice lessons, love singers and art and all that good theater stuff. Good for you. Although you are 20 seconds from the end of stream, so you got only a little catching up to do today. Doc, what is your clearance level? That depends on which universe you're looking at. Sometimes I'm a level 1 archivist. Sometimes I'm a level 5 researcher and site director. Sometimes I'm an O5 council member, but we don't talk about those ones. Lastus Darkness, thank you for your first donation to Site 42's stream right under the buzzer of the ending. Question, would Herobrine from Minecraft be a dangerous SCP? So, if it was as it was just in the game, no. But if it could do any sort of the creepypasta things that it's rumored to, then yes. All right, if there's no other donos to check out, then let's start ending the stream. So, before I do my standard exit, I'm going to do something I don't normally do, which is I'm just going to explain, since you're here, in case you don't know why this keeps happening. At the end of every stream, I either turn off or flip the camera, and I do a little singing performance. This is essentially supposed to be the credits for the stream. And end credits have an end credit song. I'm a musician and a singer. I enjoy that. And if you're familiar with Overly Sarcastic Productions, the famous not SCP, Literature and History YouTube channel, love those guys, Red and Blue, and Red likes to end episodes with singing. So that is why I use that myself, because I like a good excuse to sing a little song as well. And so I miss going to karaoke night, so you're getting the karaoke instead. Niskala, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a can of Dr. Pepper on your way past the commissary. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating again. The Omega 1 Law's Left Hand gave me head pats. You get a lot of head pats. This is a, is this a thing for you? I don't know what's going on. What's happening to the SCP guy? He looks so old. Well, Monkey Gaming, time does march on. And when you, in 2020, 5 years ago, I was a lot thinner because I did not injure my foot, so that I gained a little weight. Since I can't go to the gym, I'll lose that and I'll de-age a couple years there. Also, the stress of working at the Foundation is just a lot. This is dyed for cool factor, but this is naturally gray. This is just gray hair. To be fair, I started graying at 25, so it's not like that's a new thing. My family grays old, good old silver fox syndrome, you know. But, yes. So, yes, age is a thing. I am almost 40 nowadays. We get by the best we can. So with that, I finished the donations. Here we go, ending the stream. So, at the end of every stream, I tell you my favorite SCPs. Now, these are not the SCPs that I wrote, because that would be cheating. I love my SCPs, of course, but I'm not going to say those are my favorite. But if you want to see the SCPs I wrote, you can go to the Sherm's author page and Site 42 Hub on the SCP Wiki. It lists all the SCPs that I've written, as well as some others I contributed to. Meanwhile, you can jump onto that page's support links, and you can become a Site 42 patron. Even at $1, you get a bunch, you get early access to everything, as well as studio news. If you want to become a YouTube channel member, the first tier gets you green name and custom emojis. Green name makes it more likely I'll see you in chat, so there's that. And then at level 2, that's where you get early access. I make the early access cheaper for patrons since they don't get the YouTube benefits. I'm trying to create a balance so you can do exactly what you want to support as you can. But even if you are not going to directly donate to Site 42, if you're here, subscribe to the channel, liking and sharing, and definitely doing duty as Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codename Signal Boosters, for helping us spread SCP projects like games and films, then you are helping out more than enough to support the Site 42 project, and we salute you. Now, without further ado, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and with a big content warning, SCP-8980. That one's a tough read. One more time through. 3999, 3043, 008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, 5175, 5320, and 8980. Big content warning for that last one. Good job, all of you members as well as desk, for that copy pasta. You're doing a good job out there. Now, without further ado, I hope you guys have had fun. I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect, and I'll see you in the next stream or video. Another link in the chain getting rusty, breaking down in the gutter with a smile. It's another case of finding your place, another number showing what he's made of. And the sun sweeps the shadows from the concrete. Morning comes and it's another day. But the streets have voices, the walls have ears, and they're never gonna go away. On our feet is where we're gonna land. You can find me in the gutter. It's the place where we will make our stand. And with a smile on my face and a bottle in my hand, you'll find me in the gutter in the morning.